Do you have a potential balancing act problem coming up? Like if you invite a lot of very hardline nationalist Kekists to come into your party, will they not try and impose visions on language? You know, you've been pretty, like, it's unbelievable your position on Bill 96, for instance, very pro-business,
No.
and the Anglophone community's in favor of that. Would that force your party to go more down a path of language hawk and you know, what's perceived as anti-Anglo?
First off, we're not going to backtrack on that. It's a matter of principle, of individual freedom, of freedom of choice, and that's non-negotiable.
We're not going to backtrack on that, ... and that's non-negotiable. Éric Duhaime on this program 2 weeks ago. Well, let me tell you what happened last week when it was Éric Duhaime's turn to reverse course on his stance on Bill 96. Duhaime telling reporters that he would amend Bill 96, but he would keep it and continue to use the notwithstanding clause. The leader of the Conservative Party of Quebec, listen, let's give him one thing. He comes on this show whenever we ask. Mr. Duhaime, Éric, welcome back.
Always a pleasure, Elias.
Oh, explain the flip-flop. You're a flip-flopper, Mr. Duhaime. Explain it.
Well, first off, we're not flip-flopping. As I rightly pointed out, it's a matter of principle, and we're not going to be in favor of everything that is just poking the English community included in Bill 96. We're not changing our position on that. Regarding the notwithstanding clause, I published a book last week that made a lot of news for all sorts of reasons over the last few days, but on autonomy. It's called Destination Autonomy, where we say, and it was adopted even at our convention 2 years ago, that we're going to use a notwithstanding clause in every single bill where the federal government could challenge it, because we do believe that the National Assembly needs to be sovereign in its own jurisdiction. And that the federal government...
I appreciate that, but it seems like we've gone off a little bit of a tangent. I want to take you back, because I played you a clip from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Let me play you a clip of you on this program in 2022. This is 4 years ago, again on the subject of Bill 96 and language. Who came up with the idea for this stunt of putting a big ol' no to Bill 96, red circle with a line in it, in English, Bill 96? Who came up with that idea for the stunt?
Well, we were trying to think about, how could we express our difference between us and the other parties, since we are the only ones who want to repeal Bill 96. We thought that, having such a sign was appropriate, and it was clearly with one image, we could express our whole policy regarding that debate that Mr. Legault imposed us over the last few months. So, and then the fact that the Liberals were not clear and were even ready to make it even worse. So we want to make sure that Anglophones understand that there's one party that has a clear stand. We had a clear stand from day one, and we were the only party in the National Assembly who wanted to vote against that bill from day one. And so I think that image is crystal clear.
Éric, got to tell you, it doesn't seem so crystal clear anymore. You were pretty definitive there 4 years ago.
No, I was definitive, and I still believe that it's crazy. Many parts of the bills that are forbidding Anglophone, for English on certain things, even what's going on with the CJAD that is also included in that bill, we're all against that. The thing is that we had a convention in November 2023, after the election, where we decided that we wanted to have an autonomous position, and that's why the book came out last week, and where we decided that we want to make sure that it's not the federal government nor the courts that are going to decide unless it goes against the charter, the Quebec Charter of Rights and Freedoms, but not the federal one. So we had an autonomous position that was democratically adopted by our members, and today I'm reflecting what the members are asking us to put forward. And I mean, if the English community, I didn't see them showing up. I didn't see them promoting their interests. They rather, still, no matter what the Liberals are doing, they're still faithful to the Liberals. So you can't blame the Conservative members to adopting things at their convention when you just want to follow the Liberals. I mean, that's how democracy works, and that's how it's worked over the last 2 years.
Okay, but let me ask you this, because it seems, and this is not just you, this seems like this is the problem for the Quebec Liberal Party as well. Both positions now, it seems from both of your parties, hey, we actually don't like Bill 96. We're going to change this. We're going to change that. You know what? This bill sucks. We're going to change everything about it, but we'll keep it. So it does seem like you're playing politics here. Like when you go through the list of, I'm going to change the CJEPs, I'm going to change this on this, it's like you're saying everything in the bill is bad, but we're going to still keep the bill. And I struggle with that.
Well, the bill says also that, French is the common language in Quebec, and that we should put that in the Constitution, that there's certain parts of the bill that we could send the wrong signal if we're abolishing it altogether. And we just want to make sure that, everybody understands that, yes, we believe it's important to promote French in North America, particularly in Quebec. And that's always been our position. And we want to make sure that there's no problems with that. Ilias, I need to tell you something. When we took position against Bill 96, we took a big hit among Francophones, but we didn't take a big boost on the English side. Okay, so and that's also why the Liberals are doing that right now. The thing is that if the English community wants to have some strength, they have to politically play the game, and they're not. And by staying faithful to the Liberals, well, unfortunately, your voice is not heard because the Liberals take you for granted, and the others, they think about something else. And I always told you that, and it's more and more crystal clear now how the political power of the English community is completely diminished in Quebec because they're too liberal, and they don't even look at what's going on on what the parties are proposing. And today, nobody should be surprised. I mean, we have to show that we're defending French, and we're doing it. And the way we're doing it is saying, okay, we will use a notwithstanding clause, and every single bill that's going to be adopted by the National Assembly, well, we're going to make sure that the federal government cannot intervene. And that's it.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like you're saying to Anglophones, hey, Anglos, you want our policies to change? Get a membership. Is that what you're saying? Like, hey, you know what? If you're not going to show up to our convention meetings, if you're not going to support us, you're not going to have a voice. Are you saying that there?
Well, that's not me that's saying it. It's you, but it's a reality. It's a political reality for every single person. I mean, those who are voting without thinking for the same party for centuries. Well, it's tough for them to have a voice because, and I agree with you. If you want to get involved, if you're sick and tired of what you're seeing of different policies, the best way is to go with the party that represents the best your views, buy a membership, and make sure your ideas are adopted. I mean, that's how democracy works in our country.
Are you disappointed that Anglophones haven't supported your party as much as you'd like?
I was very surprised in the last election to see that the Liberals, after flip-flopping on Bill 96 and making it even worse than what the CAQ proposed initially, that they still stayed very faithful to the Liberals. And if you look at the polls today, they're even stronger now. And no matter what Charles Milliard, how many times is flip-flopping, it seems that it's not, the Anglos are not going anywhere else. So it's just a cold analysis of the political reality in the West End of Montreal right now.
Last thing for you on your book and on the notion of more autonomy for Quebec and using the notwithstanding clause much more. Now, by the way, I'm a fan of the notwithstanding clause. I think leaving all these things to judges, not our elected officials, is cuckoo. But sounds like you just want to use it like crazy. And I don't know if for most people, they want a government that will use it all the time. They still want some measured use of it.
I'm glad you're asking the question because it needs to be clear. We're not against the fact that the laws need to respect a Charter of Rights and Freedom. We just think it should be the Quebec Charter instead of the Canadian Charter, and that's the big difference because the federal government uses those as a way to intervene in provincial jurisdiction. And I'm currently, as you probably know, in Victoria, BC, as we speak. I'm on a tour of English Canada. And people, even here, are sick and tired of the federal government intervening in their jurisdiction. I'm at the caucus of the Conservatives yesterday. Had great meeting with their leaders. Did the same in Saskatchewan a few days ago. Tonight. I'm going to Alberta. We have a lot of allies who are sick and tired. It's not a matter of Quebec nationalism. All across Canada, people are sick and tired. The separatist movement is not growing in Quebec right now in Canada. It's growing in English Canada and has nothing to do with language and culture and everything to do with economics, natural resources, and the management of their own things. We have a constitution written by the fathers of Confederation here And unfortunately, it's violated every day by the federal government. The provinces should be sovereign in their own jurisdiction, and it's not happening in Canada. It's what I call toxic federalism right now. And everybody, even those who believe in Canada and believe in a united Canada, should be the first ones to say, if we want Canada to survive, it needs to stop. The federal government needs to stop trying to dominate the provinces, because the country is not going to survive if we keep going. And it might not come from Quebec. It could come from out west.
Monsieur Duhaime, Éric, thank you for coming on and speaking to our listeners.
Always a pleasure, Elias. Thank you very much.
Leader of the Quebec Conservative Party, that's Éric Duhaime.
Canadian women are looking for more out of themselves, their businesses, their elected leaders, and the world around them.
And that's why we're thrilled to introduce the Honest Talk podcast.
I'm Jennifer Stewart.
And I'm Catherine Clark. And in this podcast, we interview Canada's most inspiring women.
Entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, politicians, and newsmakers, all at different stages of their journey.
So if you're looking to connect, then we hope you'll join us.
Listen to the Honest Talk podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcasts.